On the 17th of January 2018, TV stations all over the globe reported startling news. Mexican divers had just discovered the world's largest underwater cavern, and its secrets would go on to astound the world. There had been some arguments about which underwater cavern was the longest in the world before the cavern was discovered. Some argued that it was a cavern called Sistema Sac Actune, and others proclaimed that it was a cavern called Sistema Ox Bel Ha. However, no one saw the discovery of the 17th of January coming. It would change how the world looked at underwater caverns forever. The startling discovery that scientists made was that the Sac Actun cavern, which was one of the longest caverns at the time, was not just one cavern. Instead, the network of underwater caves was connected to another large network of underwater caves called the Sistema dos Ojos. Dos Ojos is long and big enough in its own right, but the fact that there was a connection between it and Sistema Sac Actun made the combined system the longest in the world. Scientists have always theorized that there was a connection between Sac Actun and Dos Ojos. However, years of searching had turned up nothing. Thousands, even millions, of dollars had been wasted by successive missions to find the hidden connection between both caverns, and all of them had turned up nothing. It seemed that all hope was lost, and the connection was never going to be discovered. One of the reasons why these hidden connections between underwater caves are hard to map is because the underwater caves themselves are usually large network substructures that are hard to explore. There are hundreds of dead ends, lots of tunnels that lead to nowhere, and some entrances to the cavern are simply difficult to find. This makes the entire task daunting. The caves are not just a present of fascination and study, they were also of interest to ancient civilizations. For certain Mayans, the caves were pilgrimage sites where priests could go to communicate with the gods and offer prayers. This means they were also sites of human sacrifice, and scientists have found extensive evidence of ritual sacrifice going on in some of these caves. One cavern, called the Midnight Terror Cave, contains the bones of almost 10,000 children who were sacrificed to Chan, the god of rain, lightning, and thunder. When scientists finally discovered the connection between the Sac Actun and Dos Ojos, they revealed that the system was about 217 miles long. That is about the same length as the Grand Canyon. The connection was discovered by underwater archaeologist Guillermo de Anda of Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology. Guillermo led the Great Maya Aquifer project, which has been exploring underwater caves on the Caribbean coastline of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico for decades. The region has 58 freshwater flooded cave systems that stretch for over 870 miles. That is almost a fourth of the length of the Amazon River. At the time, Guillermo's discovery meant he had found the most important submerged archaeological site in the world. According to him, the site had more than 1,000 archaeological contexts, some of which include evidence of the earliest settlers of the American continent, extinct fauna, and even Mayan culture. Right now, the most important discoveries that have been made in the cave come from the Upper Paleolithic era. That was about 40,000 years ago. While the sapiens had already existed for a while at the time, they were still hunter-gatherers like their ancestors. They had yet to invent or discover agriculture, so they gathered fruits and hunted animals to sustain themselves. It would not be until 30,000 years later before they settled down, started farming, and began building settlements. One of the discoveries found was the remains of a mastodon. Mastodons are distant relatives of elephants who are now extinct. Like elephants, they were relatively large and also had 2 husks. The mastodon were most likely driven to extinction by human activity, as humans hunted most big fauna to death when they traveled across the land bridge to the Americas. Another discovery was a human skull that might be the oldest archaeological evidence of human habitation in the Americas. One more important archaeological find discovered by researchers in the area is the bones of a teenage female now known as Naya. She is the oldest and most genetically intact prehistoric human skeleton found in the Americas. According to scientists, the bones of Naya are around 13,000 years old, which means she or her ancestors were one of the first ever humans to cross over to the New World. However, the most interesting discoveries found underneath the sea are not only to be seen in the Sistema Sac Actune. The ocean is a fantastic place full of mystery, and the archaeological treasures it has for us are beyond our wildest dreams. Recently, the Sistema Ox Bel Ha, another underwater cavern in Mexico, has been declared the longest explored underwater cavern known to man. As of January 2023, the surveyed length is 270.8 miles of underwater passages. That makes it longer than the Sistema Sac Actune by at least 50 miles. Like Sac Actunum, Ox Bel Ha is also a treasure trove of amazing archaeological treasures. Researchers have found 3 prehistoric human remains within the system itself. While we have some theories on how their remains got there, the fact is that we don't know. Some scientists say that the cavern used to be a religious site for early humans to bury their dead, while others say that the remains found themselves there through accident. The first remains of an 18 to 20-year-old woman that we now call Eve of Narhon. Carbon testing tells us that the skeleton is around 13,600 old, making it one of the oldest human skeletons known to science. The second was of a 50-year-old woman referred to as the Las Palmas Lady. The Las Palmas Lady is considerably younger than Eve of Narhon and is only 10,000 years old. Because the bones are so well preserved, scientists have been able to recreate the face of the Las Palmas Lady, and she looks a lot like present Southeast Asians. The last find in the cave is of a 50-year-old man called the Muknal Man. Unlike the other remains in the cave, the Muknal Man shows signs of secondary burial. In archaeology, secondary burials are burial processes that happen after a first burial. These burials differ in different cultures, but they are similar in the sense that they are burials done after a first original burial. For instance, some cultures deflesh their dead. This is called the primary burial. Once this defleshing is done, they then collect the cleaned bones and bury them in a different place. For archaeologists, the process of identifying secondary and primary burials is through the state of the remains. Skeletons that are anatomically complete with the proper parts in the proper places are usually a result of a primary burial. However, skeletons that have been significantly altered are usually results of secondary burials. The one thing that we know for sure is that there is so much to learn about the underwater caverns in the region. We have not yet even begun to scratch at the surface of the secrets the deep has for use. For one, we don't even know exactly how ancient Mayan priests could go down into the deep to offer these sacrifices. We don't know how some of these bodies got there. However, scientists have recently discovered evidence of a blocked passageway below the main temple at the World Heritage Site, Chichen Itza. Researchers speculate it may lead to a sinkhole beneath the temple, which could help further reveal how ancient Mayans got connected to the massive network of underwater caverns. We have a lot of amazing videos like this on the channel for you. Do us a favor and subscribe for more incredible mysteries videos. See you in the next video.